connections that we have to the DMV, East Coast, mainly because that's where our two artists are from. The first album that we're going to discuss is Wale, who is repping that DC, and he has blessed us with his newest EP, The Imperfect Storm. It has 6 tracks, and he's definitely discussing things that are happening right freaking now. So let me shut my mouth and introduce you to one of the tracks on the album. Let's go.
Yeah. Let that shit rock out.
I can do it. It's my mother jump. Let me catch it. Way too fly, nigga, way too high. I'ma catch a body every 8 2 times. 16 killer made hits like Thriller. Pointers in the piece like a fleet of white women. Keep the vibe coming even in the pandemic. Got a mask on.
You know what I wonder?
Check my stats.
It's like, what's up? Like how he titled his album with the or titled the tracks. I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
The caps and stuff. And just the whole concept behind the cover. I mean, riots. But just want to dive a little deeper and try to get into the mind of Wale. Shout out to Eric Billinger that wrote on Empty Wishing Well. That's what's up. I fucks with Billinger heavy, man. What's your overall feel for this?
Well, I definitely feel like he perfect time ahead and drop an EP like that. For me, I've always been a fan of Wale. I've never turned a side eye at him. I loved all of his projects that he's turned out, regardless of what other people and how they reviewed it. So for me, it was just an addition to his great music ability. First things first, when you do go to the album cover, as G mentioned, it's very reminiscent of what we're seeing with protesting. A lot of people are posting photos of being put on fire. Essentially, it's a symbolism for we tired of this shit, and you are lucky that we are fighting for equality and not revenge. And that's exactly what I saw when I saw the album. Now, as far as what Wale was discussing, he definitely brought us to what America is going through. Like, we are going through a pandemic. We're going through racial inequality and yelling it loud. We're going through a president who, in his own home town, is threatening to tear gas people just to get a photo op in front of a church.
Crazy.
So, if anything, he is coming from the city of where one of the most hated men in America is living. So I would expect him to definitely talk about the imperfect storms. Now, when we get into the album, one of the very first tracks that he has on here is Moving Different, featuring McClenny, which is also produced by him. And what we get there is like the simplicity of just wanting human rights in general. Just wanting to be able to not be a target out in the streets. And I feel like this was a great way to introduce the EP and what it was going to stand for.
Mm-hmm.
Empty Wishing Well, which I'm assuming is G's favorite with Eric Billinger.
I'm a Billinger fan.
He talks about the global pandemic on that. Then you go to Blue, Yellow, Green, Pink, White, which, G, if you could help me decipher what he's meaning by that. I know he was talking about, pharmacies and being raided and killing and, looting and all these other things, but I didn't really understand the reference to all the colors.
I don't need to understand either. Shit. I need to... What I'm gonna do though is shout out to Rob Markman and the work that they do over at fucking Genius. So I'm gonna definitely hop over to Genius real quick and take a quick look at that blue, yellow, green, pink, white, and just get some concepts. Now, here's what I didn't like though. I did not like the production of that song.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah.
So, but I think it is definitely talking about pills and maybe that struggle of becoming a junkie and that addiction to different types of pharmaceuticals. right? So I think
that would make sense.
That's the direction that they're going, just looking through and every now and then I like to do this, right? I'll sit with an album, and if I'm really, really fucking with it, I'll go to Genius and I'll actually read the album, which is something new for me because I didn't do that growing up as a kid. I was production only. Matter of fact, I couldn't even understand the artists when they used to rap. Like they were talking too fast, so I couldn't get it. But now as an adult, and now being in my 40s, like I'm much more into what I consume because you are what you eat, right? Literally and subconsciously. So so I'll find myself over at Genius, going through lyrics like, damn, putting things together in a way without the production just to really read it, and it comes across totally differently. But just reading a few of the different lines in here: tomato or tomato man, I'm still playing, yeah, catching a story, not special, used to pop a yellow bus and I was on the metro. So thinking about handlebars and other types of pills. Yeah, and other types of pills, and talking about is the homie still struggling for my other homie loving. I mean, talking about a mother who was a junkie. Like, it's heavy shit. To me though, and that goes back to the detriment of creation. Sometimes the artist's desire to get something across can get lost behind what it's wrapped in. So the rapping of this song, right, and I'm rapping as WRAPPING, the rapping of the song with the production makes me miss some of the intellectual jargon that he's delivering. And that's the part that I hate because I am so still in tune. I'm production first. So.
Right. Well, yeah. Okay. Well, I like the fact that he is making music where we would want to do more research on meanings or things that he's bringing up. I think one of my favorite tracks on there is June 5th, QueenZnGodZ. I think that one is the most, I think it's one of the most important tracks of the album. One of the lines that he says is, America, tuck your shirt in, the devil is showing. It was like, what? Yo, that is so fire. Like, he talks about, obviously the climate of what's going on, but it's like we need to unravel the layers and the masks that people are upholding. Like, we want to see your true colors. And I think that the fact that he did it on such a melodic beat, which I think the majority of the album EP had a tone to it. It was flow mo mellow, like
you better talk that shit.
And it had these beats where the beats didn't overpower the words, the message. It made sure that you were able to relax your mind and listen to what was going on. And I think that is so important, especially for Wale. I absolutely love that he gave, coming from Snow on the Bluff with J. Cole, talking about queen tone and making that sound more of a negative thing, for him to uplift queens and their tone was just beautifully done. And you could definitely tell this a tribute to Black women. And so for me, I feel like this track is the standout track, and I would love to see this being played out in, whoever's a music supervisor for a movie or a show. I would love to hear this in the background on a lot of visuals. I will say overall, the last two albums is Shit Don't Stop and Maajo, which we started off with the track for us to listen to. And I really love that because it went into his Nigerian roots and he gave us that Afro flair. Yeah. And it was just a good way to end the album. And overall, I would probably rate this a 7.5 out of 10. Because again, he executed this well. It was digestible. It was 6. And he spoke truth in every single track. And the fact that the production didn't overpower his artistry, bravo to Wale. So good job.
Bravo. So I sit in a different space in it, and sometimes I'm a bit overly critical. I'm a big fan. I'm aware of the statement, you're only as good as your last X, whatever X is, right? So coming off of that previous fucking masterpiece of Wow, That's Crazy, like that album was so powerful that I didn't need, I wish the Imperfect Storm felt like the extended play of Wow, That's Crazy. Like it was some tracks that didn't get a chance to make Wow, That's Crazy, and they made this little 5-pack. Shout out to Black 6-pack, but this little 5-pack EP hitter. Like I wish it would have felt like an extension of that, because then it would have took me back to listen to Wow, That's Crazy. Instead, I got something totally different, which is okay in one aspect. I remember how great that last Wale album was. That took me all the way back to like, Ambition and The Gifted and some of his earlier projects. So I think it's a little short for me to do a full bipper on. But what I will say is that I'm always excited to get more Wale music. I want, give me full studio Wale, because I feel like I get something that's really, really measured.
Okay.
Yeah. Something that's really, really measured.
So what was that rating?
I mean, shit, it's 5 tracks. A deuce and a quarter, deuce and a half. Shit, it'll make it. Let it make it.
Oh my God. Well, I'm sure you have another DMV person for us to discuss. Hopefully it got a higher rating.
I mean, you already know the answer to that shit. Like, let's not even play around.